Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I got a pop up here from YouTube that there's managed content managers can learn to support in new ways. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, enough of all that. I am back. Yes, I did a live feed yesterday with Kilroy and Son, right before we headed out to the Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release. And so I want to report on that and report on some initial thoughts of the set, but also have a couple more pre-releases that I would unbox and show you all, so you are getting a feel for what is in the set as you are starting to go to your pre-release events or go to have it be part of your gameplay at your friendly local gaming store. And also as you start building and using this for example, like for Commander, this is I play in pre-releases, which is limited format, and then I play Commander, and that's about it. It's been a long time since I played Standard or any of the other types of formats, but yeah. So I thought I'd get into some of a couple of these boxes, and these right here is a bonus, Aether Drift. That's a few sets ago, but I was not into Aether Drift when it was out. My son was back at school, and I was focusing on other things. And so I picked this up for my son um, for Christmas, and so this was in his. This is one of some of his stocking stuffers, and with the intent that we were going to do a Kilroy and Son and rip those open as well. But we got busy. He got busy, and now he's back at school as of today. And so um, I thought I'd still crack those open. I asked him before he left. He says, "You want to take those with you, or you want to crack them open? Or you want to, you know?" He goes, "Yeah, just go ahead and do it on your channel." So I'll do that and put that aside for him. So yeah, so bonus of doing some Aether Drift, but the real focus here is Lorwyn Eclipsed. And it's kind of not really quite a Kilroy and Son because Son is back, but I will say that I got another surprise that came in the mail yesterday, which is uh, the Plum Island Horror expansion, and I've covered Plum Island. I'll put a link in my description once this gets posted to my coverage of the Plum Island. I've done an unboxing and a playthrough or an after action. But the good Herman Lutman, who's the designer of this, it was he put me and Kilroy, me and my son, Kilroy and Son, on a counter in this game. So Kilroy and Son, although we're not present today for this live feed, are and will always be present in the Plum Island Horror. More of a bad thing. I don't know, is that a good thing to be part of a bad thing? I don't know. But yeah, so you have Kilroy and Son Magic Shop. See what we're doing there. Kilroy and Son Magic Shop is a counter in here, or should be a counter here. I just got this. I'm probably going to do a unboxing of this, hopefully next Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday, and get into this. But I'll put links to my previous coverage of this just in case you're interested. And I've got a lockup of the counter. I don't see it on there anywhere, but so if I can share that, I'll share that as well. So, kind of a Kilroy and Son, at least a Kilroy and Son in spirit with that. But enough of that. Let's talk about Lorwyn Eclipse. So the pre-release last night was well attended. It was oh, I think we had definitely over 40, maybe upwards of 50 or so people, which is pretty big for we have two primary, well, for gaming stores as far as Magic and CCG or TCG or whatever games. There's probably about four in town, four or five, but this game store that I go to is primarily board games, but they do, host Magic, and so they have a new location, and they had a much larger space. So there might have been 50 or so people there, and so well attended. A lot of interest because this is one of the first sets to come out that is not part of an IP, like The Last Airbender or Spider-Man or, any of those special sets that Magic has been doing, or Final Fantasy. This is a full-on Magic set. And first, Lorwyn, I think, first came out like in 2000. Um, and I think it's been like 19 years. So that would be what, 2005, something like that, 2007. Uh, it so it's been at least, I don't know, 18 or 19 years since Lorwyn came out, and so this is Eclipse. So this is kind of going back to that same setting, so to speak. Um, and well, why don't we get into some of the unboxing? That's what you're here for, and then we'll talk about as I'm ripping some of these open, I'll talk about what how we did. So the results were, my son was 3-0, as he normally is when it comes to Magic. He's been playing a lot of One Piece lately, and not going undefeated in One Piece. He's still winning a lot, but not going undefeated in his endeavors. But he was 3-0, so he got. I don't know what he ranked as far as, because they do the ranking based on how you did against your opponents and how your opponents did against other people. Um, and But he was up at the top, if not close to the top. I don't know how many people went 3-0, because there was a lot of people there, and they just did 3 rounds. I, on the other hand, lost miserably in my first round, as I was. I'm not trying to be a victim here or say excuse, but I had bad mana problems. All I had was mana the first time, and I don't like to mulligan, but I had like 4 mana, and I said, well, let's play with this, and then I just kept drawing mana, and so that was not nice. And by the time I could get stuff out, I was done. And the deck I was going against was a it was supposed to be an elf deck, but all I saw were changelings. So that's something we're going to talk about as we unbox this or rip some of these open. Changelings are very present here. This is supposed to be kind of a tip of a cap to tribal. There's going to be a lot of tribal here in this set: goblins, elves, Kithikin. I could probably mispronounce that wrong. I'll get it when I get in here. Elementals. I think tree folk. There's a lot of tribal in this, and a lot of tribal synergy. But so with that is also, there's a lot of changelings. So might be some of the most changelings I've ever seen in a set. I think I saw at least 3 or 4, at least, different changelings during my play. So anyway, I built just basically an environmental deck. I decided to go somewhat tribal. And it had some flyers, so I thought that would be good in a limited format. And I ended up losing the first 2. Well, the first game, all mana, couldn't get started. Second game, I didn't have any mana, and I mulliganed and didn't have any mana. I had like 1. And I decided to roll with it because I didn't want to do a double mulligan, and I couldn't get started. So I mean, I don't think I would have beat the guy anyway. He looked like he had a pretty sound deck, and he plays relatively competitively, goes to like Vegas on tournaments. But I felt like I never even got started. I didn't get off the ground. Now, the second game, second round, I lost the first game, won the second game, and we ran out of time on the third, so that was a draw. And then on the third round, I won both games, and so relatively handily. So I feel like I started off slow, but I felt like my deck was better than being 1-1-1, but probably not much better than that. Anyway, and so here is an environmental that I had in my deck last night. No, I didn't have this in my deck. So that's an interesting one. This is the promo. I did not have this one. I wish I did, because I played red blue environmental was my what I ended up doing last night. All right, let's get into here. So that's the results. What do we think? Or what do I think about the set so far? I'm not as impressed as I thought I would be. I went to the Edge of Eternities. I guess that was a true Magic set, but it was, space and spacecrafts and stuff like that. This is true fantasy here. Um, I uh, I felt like there were some bangers in the packs. I felt like you can kind of get a couple cards and go, okay, I can build around that. That's going to be a kind of a, there's some removal there. There's some in strategy, you know. But this one, I just nothing jumped out at me. I just kind of went the way I felt was most economical based on what I had. So there is the other race I was trying to talk about, Kithkin, and that is the rare in here. It's a looks pretty good. And they have quite a few. Each of the different tribes, like there's a goblin in this set, which I'm trying. I hope I get when I open up these packs. That's really devastating. It's a really low drop. I think a 1 or 2 drop goblin that does just about everything. And so that's what everybody's kind of looking for. But I saw this in some of the other tribes as well. There was like these really low cost cards that do a lot, and kind of like our Swiss Army knife type stuff. So that's something I'm going to be on the lookout for in here. Merfolk, that's another one of the things that pop up a lot in all this in these tribes. So I think I'm not wowed by it yet, but I probably haven't seen enough of it yet. I think with tribal is probably should be there's some of those changelings I was talking about. Um, in fact I think I played that one because it basically searched for a land. I played that one in my deck. But you would think that I got a blood crypt. I had a blood crypt last night too, so I didn't play red black though. So it's a pain land. So there's an interesting card there. Bridget's Command. Man, I'm doing some good on the Kithkins here. I might have to work on a deck with them. So I think this might supplement Commander very well with all the tribal that's in it. So if you got a Merfolk deck or a Goblin deck, and not a, I have a mono red Goblin deck, but I mean a black red Goblin deck. I think there's some stuff to be found in here. So I think there's a potential support for tribal and Commander. As I said, I don't really play the standard format. I saw that guy a few times last night. Ooh, Gloom Ripper, Elf Assassin. Um, so, but nothing was jumping out at me off the page, right? There was a black green elf that I liked that we unpacked yesterday in the live thing that I was like, okay, I have a black green elf deck that for Commander that I think that will fit in. I just need to go back and look at that. But my son thought, oh man, you're going to be going and spending. I like building more than playing, so I build a lot of Commander decks. And he was like, oh, you're going to spend a lot of time having to supplement all your decks. But I don't know. I haven't seen a lot. I started building a pile of stuff, and I just haven't seen a ton of stuff that I'm like, okay, that has to go somewhere. That's an interesting Merfolk right there. Can't be blocked. Low cost, 2-drop there. It's a blue white, so very nice. So, but love to know your thoughts. Go ahead and put them in. You can put them in the live chat or put them in the comments down below. Love to know what you think about any of that and any of this set. What were your expectations? What have you seen? I mean, it's only been what 2 days, today and yesterday and today. But what are you thinking about? What you've seen so far? Love to hear from you. Now that is a cool artifact, and I had that. And I played that with my elementals, and so this is basically an anthem, a 2/2 anthem, but it's also a card draw. So, and gives you first strike and trample, which won my last game of the evening with that. That's a very nice card there, but I mean it's at a cost though, right? It's 6, so 6 colorless, but 6 nonetheless. So you got to ramp up for that. And I had that late game, so I ended up playing it out of the games I played. I think what I play. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out of 7 games that I played last night, I got that out twice, and I had it in my hand 3 times. 2 of times, of course, I got out, but that was it. Personify, okay. And ooh, look at that. That's a nice mythic there. I got Oko, Lorwyn Liege. I think that's something that people might be looking for. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay green. So it's blue green. If you do, transform. Yeah, I didn't get any of these cards. I mean, I didn't get any of these two-sided cards. But I mean, there's at least one there, so that's nice. I'm gonna have to read up on that one a little bit more. And that is it's a planeswalker. So there we go. That's the first 6 there. Let's move stuff around a little bit and see what the next 6 have in store for us. And if you're stopping by, thank you. I know you got you're probably playing tonight. Some of the tournaments here today, mostly were during the day, but you know, if you're stopping by before or after or later in the week or next week or whenever you're stopping by, just thank you. I know you got a lot of choices for your free time and social media choices. And so anytime you spend with me or on my channel is greatly appreciated. I truly mean that. There's an artifact here. Oh, let's get this. It's a foil, but let's get here's the promo. What do we, yeah, I had this last night. I didn't have it. I put it in the deck, got it out. Didn't really do much for me, and so I took it out and went back with some more mana. So actually, I went back with another card. I can't remember. I hope if I see it in here, I'll let you know. But it's a pretty. I think it's a rare, so I might not see it, or maybe even a mythic. It's a blue green card, and there's some of these special spells in here. If we get one, I'll show you which have the evoke. So you can play it for its evoke cost, and it's going to die that turn, but it's basically just kind of an instant spell or sorcery type spell. Or you can play it for its big cost, but it's and they're like 6/5 or something like that. But I played it. I had that one blue green in there, even though I was playing blue red. But you play the 2 blue, you get to draw cards and draw 2 and discard a card. So I got that out as a 6/5 a few times as well. So let's talk about some of the new mechanics in here. There's evoke, which means you can play it for a lower cost, but it's going to go away. There is convoke, which you use your characters to cast stuff. You can tap your characters, and that kind of goes with tribal because you're going to be playing. You're probably going to have some weenies in your tribal that you're going to have out there, and you can turn them into mana sources with convoke. And then ooh, look at that. Saw that last night. And then Adept Water Shaper, Merfolk Cleric. That's one of the ones I think I might look in my Cleric deck. That might have some play in there. I just need to check it out. So there's Evoke, Convoke. There is, what's that, like Behold, I think, or something like that, where you show a card. Either if you have a card on the, sometimes if you have a card on the out and play, or you show a card, reveal a card from your deck as an additional cost to do it. They're also bringing back Persist, which is, a -1/1, and that's, kind of a mechanic, and there's some, archetypes that play along with that mechanic. There's also, there's one that's related to that. Golly, I don't know if I see it here yet. You guys might have seen it. I'll come up with it, but there's another mechanic out as well. Look at that. End Blaze Epiphany. Ooh, I have to look at that. That looks like it's a rare or mythic there. It's hard to see in my lighting. Sorry for any lighting or glare issues that I have. Get my cheat sheet here. Blight. That's that plays a lot. That's kind of like Persist in some respects. It deals with -1/-1 counters. And there's quite a bit of Blight going on in here. There's also Blight and Persist kind of are play, in the same pool. There's also Vivid, which is basically plays upon how many colors you have. So you want to have. I had one vivid card in my deck, and I was only playing 2 colors. Well, 3 with that one. And so the most I could ever get was like 2 bonus out of it. But it plays with how many colors. So it's really good for multicolor decks, and kind of ramps up with the more colors, and that's vivid there. Ooh, we got emptiness. I had this last night too. I mean, I drew it, pulled it last night, but didn't play it. But see some of the stuff going on there. Kind of cool. So yeah, so those are just some of the things going on in this set. Again, with the heavy tribal, and then being supported by a changeling as well. So anyway, I think that's somewhat of a recap of what's going on there. Love to know your thoughts on it or what you're thinking about this set. And we get Bree of Clan Stoutarm. For some reason my lighting's not good tonight. I'm having trouble focus on this stuff. Giant Warrior. Yeah, there's more giants in this. I pulled a couple of giants. There's like red and I think blue as well. So there's quite a few different, again, races or tribes or whatever you want to have in this set that aren't. There's goblins, of course, but it's not your typical goblins, and it's not just your typical tribal that you normally see all the time. Bridget, look at that. And she flips over. Look at that. Okay, cool. So I might have to start looking at Kithkin, or however I'm supposed to pronounce that, because there looks like there's some good stuff in there. So anyway, there you have it. That is what I got out of the 2 pre-releases tonight. Not too bad. I mean, you tell me. I got a couple of these flip cards, which is kind of cool. I don't think I got any last night. Or yesterday in our live session yesterday. So that's optimistic. But there you go. That's generally what I got. That's some of my thoughts on Lorwyn Eclipsed. And but that's only after 1 pre-release play, 7 games, and several pack rips, right? That's what I got on that. So your mileage, of course, may vary with that. Anyway, love to know what you think about any of that stuff. Would be very cool. All right, so now, whoa, I'm getting all excited here. So now I'm gonna rip open these just because I don't know if I'm gonna have time to do individual videos. I'm getting backlogged on my I didn't get that goblin, by the way, the one I was looking for. I'm getting backlogged on my my videos. As I said, this is predominantly there's a life spinner there. This is predominantly a war game channel, and I got to catch up with my war games. And one thing I am definitely missing is playing my games. So I got to get more play in place. More play in play. Aether Drift, I was not involved or collecting or playing at that time or building anything at that time. I picked up some after the fact, but generally I heard not great things about this set. Now here's your start your engines and max speed type stuff, which I don't know of anybody that really loves that mechanic. Maybe there's a way to build around it, but I haven't heard great things about that mechanic. But no, pardon the pun there, but I haven't heard great things about Aether Drift, and I don't know what is the search card in here. I've got a few cards here, and have gotten some cards through my son to add to some decks, but nothing that really jumps out as me as this is an awesome mechanic or this is an awesome card. I think there was one card I needed for a specific deck, and it was like, I think it was an uncommon, so it wasn't even a big power card. So there's a vehicle, lumbering wagon. It's my rare in here. Oh, I got a couple rares. Got a full art here too. That's cool looking. Sorry for any out of focus stuff. What was that one too? It's kind of hard to see with my glare going on here tonight. My lighting technician is gone, so for the school year. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this set as well. Is there anything that you loved or hated or hated and hated in this set? Be interested to hear from you. Kind of expensive card there. Interesting. So, yeah, but so during Christmas, one of my my other friendly local gaming store. There's really two that I frequent the most. The other ones are mostly card places, and as I said, I leave that to my son to play around in those areas. But the they the other one has always has a Christmas sale, and they always put these. They usually have some of these. In the years past, they've had like tons of these, of like different sets of pre-releases, and they're really cheap. And so I usually pick up a bunch of those as stocking stuffers for my son, and for me too. But this year, all they had was that. All they had was Aether Drift, and they had some Commander stuff at a lower price. But most of what they had in Magic was for that I'm used to seeing rows and rows of pre-releases. Just wasn't there. It was just Aether Drift, and so that's what I picked up. Okay, there's the rare. Okay. So, again, love to know any of your thoughts on this set. This is like what, 5 sets ago now. This is old news, and wasn't much of a loved set at that. No love in Mudville. I got an art card there. Still collect those. See what we got in here. And one reason I'm doing this live tonight is because I'm home alone. Well, I've got my youngest with me, but she's got homework. She's got to get her homework done before we do something. So I thought I'd burn some video while everybody else is gone and away. And then I'm going to be getting back to some of my other videos that I need to do. Here's all the stuffing for that kind of stuff. My other videos I need to do for my wargaming channel. And on Saturdays is Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday, so I try to do something that is sci-fi or fantasy. Imagine that. And Sundays are kind of a catch-all. I call them Sanctuary Sunday. And I might cover war games or historical stuff on that day if it happened on that day, but for the most part, it's catch-all. So it's something that's typically not sci-fi, not fantasy, not war, and so maybe economic or crime or Euro game or something along those lines on my Sunday shows. Put this over here. Running out of room here, folks. Can't see it anymore. There we go. So yeah. So on average, I probably put out 5 videos a week at least, and then I have several shorts that I do. I shoot shorts on games, but I also have Kilroy from the Roads. I do a geo quiz. Where in the world am I? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Where in the world is Kilroy? So is that the same one as that? I think that is. It's just a full art card. But I got a Verge. Okay, Verges are cool. I think that was one of the good things out of this set were Verges. Yeah, so I have I have a geo quiz, which is where am I, and from all my travels, and family's travels, and then I'll have a military quiz where might be a fort or a statue of a leader or a military vehicle my largest hits and likes or views and likes are tanks. You guys are a bunch of tank nuts. And so and I'll literally will stop. I'll drive down the side of the road if I see a tank or a helicopter or aircraft or some kind of military vehicle. I'll pull off the road and go film it. So that's some of my military quizzes that you will see on my channel. And the geo quizzes are usually on Thursday. Military quizzes are on Friday, but not every Friday because I'm running out of stuff to cover. I'm not hitting the road or seeing stuff along the side of the road as much. And then I'll do shorts on Magic if I'm doing or any kind of collectible card game. If I'm doing a rip open of a pack or something, I might do a short on that. So yeah, that's my channel. So if you're here for the first time, there's some of this stuff. There's some of that stuff. There's, I try to, I just show my interest and hopefully it catches someone's eye and maybe I help them out on looking at a game or figuring something out in this hobby that is interesting. That's kind of cool. That's interesting. I like the look of that. I might have to see if that plays anywhere in any of my decks. And here's the last pack, people. I know this was kind of long tonight, but as I said, I was lonely, and I was just talking. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the channel, talk a little bit about the pre-release. So I think I've covered Lorwyn as much as I kind of wanted to at this point. And you got some bonus material with this. That's an interesting one with this Aether Drift stuff. And you heard about my channel a little bit. And you're going to know what's coming up and hopefully with some of my new stuff like the Plum Island expansion. Anyway, there you have it. That is what I have for you tonight. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're just chiming in now or joining us now, go back and look at some of the stuff that I really cover Lorwyn Eclipsed, mostly in the beginning, and did an opening of all those packs up here. And the stuff that's left over, these are just the rares. And this is Aether Drift down here. But I kind of talk about my thoughts on the pre-release, on the set itself, and on the potential for deck building and commander and tribal and all that other stuff, and some of the mechanics. So a little bit of an overview, and now I'll get this posted or I got to do all the cleanup stuff on it, and I'm gonna do something with my youngest because everybody else is out of the house for 2 days. So anyway. Thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate you. Again, I know you have a lot of choices for your spare time, social media intake. So anytime you spend on my channel, even if it's just a few seconds to seeing what's out there, I appreciate that. I really do. Anyway, thank you all and have a great rest of your evening or whenever you're watching this. Hey, have a good one. Take care.